All right, so this is Moo Moo Mayhem, or at least how it is right now. So you have cows and blobs that spawn from these tiles, which are spawn points. And if I apply an arrow, I still have to add the UI for the direction of the arrow, but if I apply that, the cow or the blob will follow it. Now, those tiles are damaged, so if a cow walks on it, it will apply 1 point of damage to the tile. But if it was a blob, it would automatically create a hole. And when they go in a hole, they disappear. But if they hit redirection, then they will follow that direction. Now, if a cow and a blob meet, unless the cow is invincible temporarily, then it will be automatically eaten by the blob. And that's pretty much what I have so far. Now, when it comes to the spawner, it can change any attribute, be it the direction, the color, the speed. It can change anything. I can tweak that fairly simply. Right now I have it hard coded, but it would be fairly easy to edit it the way however we want. So for instance, let's say we want the fast cow to be like incredibly fast, and we want them to go mostly on the left. We want to see more brown cows and green cows, but less of the default cows, and a bit more purple. So I can tweak anything I want on the entity, which all have specific attributes. And let's say I want the interval to be a bit bigger. And this interval, this is the time between each spawn. And I can also add some randomness to that through the variance. And we have different distributions available. Let's say I want to increase the lambda here. So if I do this, now things should change a bit. We have more brown and green cows. All right, let's add a bit more speed. I want to see way faster cows. Yeah, we can see faster cows. But yeah, and if I reload this, because it's pseudo randomness, it will execute the exact same way. But now if I change the seed, let's say to this, we're not going to see the same thing. And that's because of the library I'm using. And that way I can have the game execute the same events in the same way for all clients at the same time. I was thinking about online multiplayer when I had that, when I implemented this. So yeah, that's what I have so far. When it comes to the code, so the repo is a bit beefy, but I guess let's start here. So I have this distributions folder, which has all the different, let's say, platforms or versions of the game. So far, I only have standalone web, because that's what I'm focusing on right now, just the regular website. But later, I'd like to have, the Steam version of the game, the desktop, iOS app, Android app. All of those would end up in the distribution folder. When it comes to the game, it's so this is a library technically, and this is just the standalone. Let's call it the official version of the game, which is currently made with Solid.js. It's kind of like React, but I prefer it, and it implements the different functions of the game and some UI elements. For instance, this board here, it's the DOM, it's not canvas. The game isn't the canvas, but the board, I just used the DOM because it's easier. Then next, let's go to the engine. So in engine, I have 3 different parts: core, client, and headless. Headless is server. It will only have to do with multiplayer. Client is only, well, client-side stuff, so rendering. For instance, a cow is rendered on the screen using this. So every entity that we render, for instance, fence, cow, this goal point, the spawn point, they all are actors which have their own render functions, and they all have a specific blueprint. A blueprint will define the different attributes and their default value. Also stuff like the what sprite to render, what animation, and all that. And those are the graphics are defined in an asset folder. In my assets, I'll have the different sprites, the fonts, but also the music. And there I define the number of cells on the sprite, how to play an animation, what frame at what moment, how fast, whether or not to loop it. And also I define a symbol, because then I can use those, I can define a level just using symbols. Let me show you, maybe with the fence it will be more explanatory. So for instance, this is my fence, and for each symbol you have the corresponding piece of the tile. And this way I could just draw it in text, or people could draw it with text, and it could be rendered without a problem. But yeah, so assets. But back to the engine. So yeah, I have the client, which on the graphics, the music, and all that. Then we have core, which are all code shared between the client and the server, and this follows the ECS paradigm. So E is for entities, and entity is just an identifier, so it would be a number. But I also use that to define the blueprint of my entities. Then we have the components. The component is pretty much a data structure. For instance, let's say physics, velocity component. What is it? Just speed. So, and you add all of these components to an entity. And this way, then you can apply functions to those components to edit the value of the attributes. And the functions are defined in systems. I hope this is a bit clear. It's a really cool paradigm, really helpful to follow. You're probably already familiar with it. But yeah, and I found that following this was pretty helpful to me. It's a bit annoying because CapPlay, which I use on the client, it's not able to run on the server, which is why I have to redefine all of those components in the core system, because then I'm going to have to define that logic on the server. So I'm trying to reduce the amount of code that I'm going to have to duplicate, but yeah. And that's pretty much it for Moo Moo Mayhem. I don't have anything yet in the server. This is just trying some stuff. I'm not there yet. I was just trying different things. But yeah, this is what I have so far. And yeah, that's it. Hopefully in a few weeks I'll have a bit more, maybe with the different items and with the UI for placing the different arrows. But yeah, that's the progress so far.